Hi, what's up, guys? So I just figured I'd give an update video. It's pretty much gotten cold now. Brought all the bikes in, gonna start on projects. Um, this bike in particular, I probably won't really do anything to. I did all fresh bearings and seals and stuffy crank, so I probably won't do anything to this. Did that at the beginning of the summer. Probably throw a new chain on it. Maybe front sprocket, maybe. Um, Last day that we rode, I ended up crashing this, and the fender, the fender got bent over the tire, and it cracked right at the seam here. You probably can't see underneath, but I used liquid steel, um, kind of flattened it out right up inside of here, and we'll see if it holds. I don't know. I really don't want to cut it because if I cut it where it's broke, there's not going to be anywhere to mount my license plate unless I do a side bracket or, even putting my tail light up here. There wouldn't be anywhere unless I cut it maybe like right here. But we'll see if it holds. If it doesn't hold, then I'll probably cut it right here, and then just mount these here. Fuck it, YOLO. Um, so with that, that's probably all I'm gonna do with that. Um, we have a Hobbit here. It's water cooled, pretty quick. It actually snapped the stock crank um, on the variator side, snapped it right off. There's too much power, but we got a stuffy crank for it. Um, it's pretty easy to throw it all together. We'll probably clean all this stuff up, all the cases and everything. Case match it because we didn't case match it when we put it on. Um, we put like 400 or 500 miles on this, and there's still cross hatches inside of it. You can't even tell that it was even ran. Um, we got that as a project that we got to do. We got the stock Tomos here. Stock Tomos. Just pretty much got to slap that together. I'm gonna hone out this cylinder. It's a little rusty, but I'm gonna hone that out. This motor already has clutch springs in it, so it probably won't do anything with that. I can't remember what they have in it, but it does have clutch springs in it. So all we got to do is just slap this all together. And then I have my race bike for next year. I'm gonna use a stock 50cc Corrado cylinder. I got the cylinder. I got my cases all honed out. These are actually stock E50 cases, and it just barely works. But it should be fine. There should be plenty of surface area to clean that up. I got a rigid frame, end frame, that I'm going to use. I already reinforced to the back end of it with some steel bar. So you can barely even bend it. I'm going to use a Polini seat on it. I fiberglassed the bottom of it already. It's just a real shitty extra seat that I had laying around. I don't really care if it's probably going to get messed up anyways racing next year. But the frame is pretty clean. So I gotta make an intake for the Corrado. I got I'm gonna lighten the clutch bell. These are actually guitar picks, placed out evenly. You can cut those out. Somebody in our group did this about 8 years ago, and we just recently pulled the motor apart for a rebuild, and this is still minty. It didn't warp. So I'm going to go with this style lightened clutch bell. I'm going to cut these out. And then, yeah, I'm going to do that. I got to get my starter plate yet. Stuffy crank. There's a whole list of about $300 worth of parts I got to buy yet for this bike. So that'll probably be a later project, probably like March or April when I start working on that. Gotta wait for that tax return before I spend all that money on those parts. In here, I got I picked this up. I picked it up on a trade, Poop Maxi. This is the ZA50 that's on that. I got a 12 Bing and the ported high torque cylinders that I poured out. I got one of those on it. Even with the 12 Bing, it's pretty quick. It's faster off the line than my other Maxi. I got to mess with the gearing a little bit to get a little bit more top end on it. But I guess it's topping out about 40. So I think if I put a 14 Bing on it and up my gearing, probably get a little bit more out of it. The Express, I haven't really done anything with it. I put on the new carb and learned how to retard the ignition on it. And I haven't touched it since. I haven't even test rode it since I retarded the ignition on it. I just kind of lost interest. I was extremely frustrated with it. So I pretty much put it all up a few months ago, and I haven't touched it since. Like I said, I put the carb on it, and I retarded that ignition and cut slots in here to make sure that the ignition could stay cool, because I had a feeling that the ignition was overheating. So I did all that, and I haven't touched it since. You can see there's dust on it, so it's just been sitting. Another Maxi that we're rebuilding, Hobbit in the back there. We're probably going to take this frame and put it on that Maxi, the water-cooled the water-cooled Hobbit. But we just haven't gotten around to it. We'll wait till it gets colder till we start to have some time to work on stuff. I have another Tomos here that I'm going to put a stock motor on. I have the cylinder and all that. I just need to get rings for it. But yeah, that's really all I have going on. I'm probably going to try to make some more videos when it comes down to porting out this Corrado, making intakes, cutting this out, my clutch basket. I have a 3-shoe clutch coming for this, as well as a Puglio Vince pipe, which I'm super excited about. I got it from a guy in the Netherlands. I paid 80 shipped for it, so I got a steal on it. But yeah, that's all I got going on, guys. I'll keep in touch.